welcome to this month's session, New Earth Teachings with Ascendant Master Lakeshma. So those of you who are not too familiar with Lakeshma, she was Ascendant Master in Atlantis, and she brings forth teachings for what is occurring now, which is the Great Awakening, basically parallels to her experience of the Great Awakening. So she talks of how all the Great Awakenings are all lining up, and that is why we've entered into this state of consciousness. Very, very exciting. So today we have Isabelle. Hi, Isabelle.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
And she'll also be reading out questions for another Patreon member also. Okay, so without further ado, I'll go into trance and bring forth Lakeshma. We'll see you on the other side. Mighty One.
Hello, Lakeshma.
It is our honor to come through again in this way and connect to you in this way. Many changes are occurring. Many of you are aware of such changes. And it is all happening in divine time and divine plan, according to your collective consciousness, according to the human collective pre-birth intentions. Yes, you have intentions pre-birth, but the collective, that very human race that you're born into, also has an intention. And this is part of the purpose why you chose to come here and experience life in this way as a human. How exciting is that? You are a God creator and you had a part in this expansion that is occurring by you being here in this presence. By you being here, you are expanding all that is. You are connected to all that is. What is occurring right now has never been happening in a time of your perceived human history. Yes, there have been great awakenings throughout your timelines. But my dear ones, when we say this, it is all aligning. All the timelines, all the lives you are living and have lived are now lining up. For you have entered into what you call the golden age. You have entered into the time of great expansion of man. And as such, you are now tapping into your more of your multidimensional selves, all the lives that are currently living in the golden age. You are now tapping into this. And it is allowing your present now to be more fully expanded. And this is true for all beings living on earth. You may not feel it straight away, but it is filtering down into the collective consciousness, and it will reach your divine blueprint and awaken your conscious awareness in divine time when you are ready. But it is already trickling down. It is always expanding. You are always expanding. And you would not be here watching if you do not choose to remember more of who you are. You are God and you are already enlightened. All the enlightened versions of yourself is already existing in all the lives you have lived. They are lining up, and this is why you are accessing memories. You are accessing abilities from all the lives you are living, mighty ones. And what an exciting time to be alive when you are developing and remembering these abilities, this information that you already know. It is aligning right now to the now. And this is why we tell you to be in the present moment. For when you are in the present moment, you are more easily able to tap into these enlightened versions of yourself. It is remembering of who you are. Your vibration has increased to allow you to remember more of who you are. That you are more than a body. You are more than identity. That you are God. But it is just one step at a time. For you to remember that you are God does not happen overnight. And this is a process. It is just one step. When you work on your vibration, when you practice techniques in oneness, your conscious awareness, it allows you to connect to the oneness of all your higher dimensional aspects. In the present now, you tap into that portal to access the oneness of yourself and the oneness of all that is. You are a highly advanced being. You always have been. You would not be here living otherwise. You are much more than you can conceive. The present now of your identity as a human cannot see the full picture. But you are tapping into all these higher versions of yourself to give you more information, to allow that frequency to unlock more of your divine blueprint. When you unlock the divine blueprint, you access all your other high dimensional lives. You access more information about your purpose, about why you are here. It is a game, my dear ones, a game of expansion. All the information you seek is already existing within you. My dear ones, welcome today.
So Lakeshma, Kimberly and I were talking, you were probably right there. We were talking about free will. So what confuses me, but I think I'm beginning to understand that the free will of me is working on my vibration, and the how and when is really determined by my vibration and my team on the other side. We will call them the non-physical entities, right? And my higher self. So I have pre-birth intentions. So the other day I went to a beautiful cherry blossom festival, and on the way back I got a flat tire. And, you know, I was a little bit stranded, but I was very calm. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how calm you are. And I'm like, this is for me. Like, I mean, I didn't say it, but I knew it was for me. It was not random. The flat tire was meant to be. And it was this knowing that whatever shows up in my reality is based on my vibration and information that I don't have. So the self-talk around the flat tire could have been like, well, I wasn't really looking at new tires, and maybe I needed to buy new tires because they were old. And this flat tire was the least passive resistance. It's no big deal. I bought a new tire. It's fine. We got home. It's perfect. I accept all that is because it was for me. But I think because you've been counseling us, right? Mentoring us, like everything is for you. You are not a victim. Nothing happens to you. It's all for you. But this understanding, this last piece of free will, I think I was telling Kimberly, I said, Kimberly, I really think the free will is my free will to work on my vibration, my free will to choose my perspective. Am I on the right path of understanding?
My dear one, you have the knowing. You all have the knowing. Yes, there are, we would say, many pre-birth intentions in play here. You have your pre-birth intentions. You have the pre-birth intentions of those in your life, in your reality. And you also have the pre-birth intentions of the collective, of the human collective. And it all, we would say, is created in an energy composition to allow you to have choices. Yes, you have chosen as a collective to experience expansion in a certain way. There may be certain themes that you see in your society, and you wanted to explore life that way. And you knew that by being witness or experiencing such events in your society will impact on your personal journey, you would say. And that was part of the intentions. And you chose that it would affect your journey, but you wanted that. But yes, there are many different pre-birth intentions. You always have a choice. You did come here to explore certain situations in your life. Those of you who are watching this are light workers, in your terminology, who came here to expand yourself, and in doing so, you expand all those around you. Now, this can manifest in different ways. It may not be in the so-called spiritual field, but you are still assisting and encouraging well-being in the body, the mind, or the spirit, in your terminology. So you have chosen this. But my dear ones, you do have a choice. You have a choice to be empowered. You have a choice to ignore the guidance. You have a choice to be pinched off, we would say. You have a choice to stay fully in the illusion, not explore your purpose. And by you doing that, you are not actively working on your vibration. For if you are actively working on your vibration, the information will come to you. And you will have the emotions and the feelings that allow you to feel good about choosing your path. So you feel like you don't want to choose another path because it feels so right to you. It feels aligned to you. You cannot deny it. But if you do not, we would say, take the inward journey. Look at the fears, look at the limiting beliefs. Then you stay fully in the illusion. You begin not to see yourself as worthy. So you start controlling your life in a direction that allows you to be limited. But this is your choice. You've always had a choice. And this is the past. Many of you have lived lives not knowing this information, not knowing about how to address your vibration. So you go on controlling your life. But my dear ones, once you start actively making the choice to know more about who you are, to know more about your life purpose, you will have that information come to your awareness in some form or another. You'll attract the guidance because you'll be vibrationally ready to receive it, my dear ones. All is accordance with your frequency. You have a choice to live in the frequency of love or the frequency of fear. The choice is yours. You've always had the choice. We would say once you understand and know more about who you are, you might have fear, so you push it aside. You've already chosen because it's in your awareness. And if the fear is too great, you can still make the choice, but choose something else. If you keep ignoring it, then we would say there'll be certain tests in your life to allow you, to bring you back to your calling. Make a conscious decision. Do you want to explore your life purpose or do you choose something else? Intentions are powerful. Pre-birth intentions, you might call these soul contracts, you would say. They are not set in stone. You can change this if you want, but you need to make the intention. Mighty ones, you have free will, for you are a human. Why would you deny your life purpose? You came here for a reason. We know that many of you find it very challenging. But what's really happening is that you do want to follow your path, but you're just fearful of taking that step. So really, you're not actually not choosing it. You are choosing it. You're just fearful of going further. But once you address your vibration, you'll see that fear dissipate. Mighty ones, it is just one step. Those of you watching, you chose to remember your life purpose. You would not have the call to do this work otherwise.
I agree. I'm all in, Lakeshma. I'm all in. Because I believe our highest purpose, to be honest with you, is for our highest good. And I remember like feeling the calling, Lakeshma, and having it feel surreal. Like I was unsure, but I felt it so strongly, but it was a knowing, and it was unusual because nobody really talks. I mean, the stories about people's callings in my life was always these men like slaying the dragon, or they were called to Tibet, or they were called to God, and it was always the priest, you know. And here I am, a mom in corporate America with a daughter and a husband and a little white dog, you know, and get this calling. And it was not the typical story of a typical hero of the calling. And so, you know, it's kind of funny, Lakeshma. The reaction to everyone around me, and even me going through it. I'm telling you guys, I've got a calling. I don't know what is going on, but I have a calling. So it was interesting to go through those steps to understand it didn't matter what society said, and didn't matter, and to trust that calling and to trust that knowing. And you're absolutely right, Lakeshma. It was really one step at a time, one step. And then you wait, and then you pause, and then you adjust to it. And then you go on, and then you work on your limiting beliefs. And I think a lot of people can relate to people who are moms. You know, as a mother, when your kid is sick, it doesn't matter what the doctor says. It doesn't matter what the school says. It doesn't matter what your husband says. You know, as a mama, when your kid is sick. You just know. And everyone can tell you you're wrong. But it doesn't matter, because you know. Mother instinct feels very similar to the calling. Didn't matter what anyone said. I know the calling. And it was, you know, it was a step, little steps.
You are seeing the parallels here. Everyone receives the calling, but some of them disregard the calling. They ask themselves, who am I to do this? How does this fit into the status quo? How does it fit with my identity? Because we would say many people live in the ego minds. So if they have a calling to a certain direction, if it's not fit to what their identity, they disregard it. But you know enough information by now, those of you watching this, that your identity is limited. Your identity is not who you are. You are much more. You want to have identity in place because it allows you to feel more safe. It allows you to have a subgroup of rules and regulations that allows you your belief systems to fit into a pattern in accordance to your identity. If there's any beliefs or information that comes in your reality that is against this identity, then you disregard it. But my dear ones, your identity has allowed you to get to a certain point, but now it is time to let go of it all if you want to truly discover who you truly are. The calling could be an artistic expression. You hear many artists have the calling. It might sound crazy. We understand this. You disregard it. The calling is a step. Explore what you can within that vibration, within that inspiration, and you receive the next step. You do not have to see the full picture. But once you do the work, it'll be undeniable. You'll have a knowing that this is what you were supposed to do. And you'll get to the point where you cannot deny it any further. And the fears that you had to overcome it, the fears will not be strong enough to stop you. There will be a point of time. My dear ones, be patient. If you have the calling, then explore it in what other capacity you can to allow you to be in that vibration to receive the next part of the information. When you are vibrationally ready, you'll access the divine blueprint and more information will come into your conscious awareness. So my dear one, you are exploring your purpose. You are exploring your calling. And this is what life purpose is. And how wonderful it is that you are able to explore this and push past the fear in relation to this. To be able to live your life more in the frequency of love than fear. And how exhilarating it is for you to know this in your conscious awareness. Be an everyday person in your terminology, but still be so highly advanced and have the calling, for you all have the calling. It's whether or not you want to listen to it or not.
And Lakeshma, I really like what you said was, because that's very true. I think it's a process for everyone that when you work on a limiting belief on your calling and you say, okay, who am I to have this calling, right? And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be open to it, right? And you work on your vibration, the next step will present itself. But when you're in that uncertainty of it, like you're both like, am I not? And you're wobbling. But if you can just go with it and just allow it to settle within you, the next step will be presented. And at first it's scary and you're unsure that the next step will be there, but the next step is always there. And it is like gaining confidence that the next step will always be there, to the point where you're not even worried when the next step is going to show, because you just know it's going to show. And then you're like, oh, and here's the step. But it took me personally a while to even feel confident that the next step will be there, because you can't see the next step. And we're so used to planning the next step or knowing where the next step will be and controlling the next step, and people asking you personally where the next step is. That was my experience. Like a lot of people are like, well, what's the next step? What's the next step? Because, you know, I put them in fear by me not knowing, right? So it is a process, but if I can share with my friends out there listening to this, my experience with it, this next step will always be revealed. And so what Lakeshma is saying is really true. It's just, you just can't see it. And it's scary at first because you feel like you are going in a dark room. You can't see the furniture and you might bump something, but you really are being led gently, and lovingly. And you guys are so patient with us. So thank you, Lakeshma.
It is the fear of the unknown, and this is a common experience through the human collective. If you can't see it, then you fear it. You seek the control to allow it to feel more secure. But this process is limiting. This process does not allow you to see the magic of who you are, the glorious being that you are, the powerful God creator that you are. You have a choice. You have a choice to drop it down into the heart center. You have a choice to let go of who you think you are and what you think you know, to let go and be willing to be able to be vulnerable, to allow you to change direction. If it aligns to your purpose, you have a choice. You've always had a choice. It is just one step at a time. When you are vibrationally ready, you will access the information. It may be direct communication from the non-physical. It may be through words, maybe through signs. Maybe you're guided to read something. Maybe you just have the calling, the inspiration to go to a certain location. It may not make sense to you, but it's all of you. It all is all the versions of you. It is the non-physical, the beings of delight. We are you, and we are guiding you every step of the way. It is up to you if you choose to listen to this, to open yourself up to receive this information. You've always had a choice. And we love you anyway. Every choice that you make, whether it is in love, whether it is in fear, it is still perfect. And we love you endlessly. This will not cease. So you do not have to worry about making the wrong choice, because it will still allow you to explore this reality. You will still expand, my dear one. You chose the challenge. And there is much assistance for you. Never before has there been a time when you have access to this information, due to all the great awakenings lining up in your timelines, due to the consciousness moving more into love, due to your intentions that you created before coming here, my dear ones. In the collective and on an individual level, we would say in your terminology. How exciting is that? There are so many dynamics in play here, more than you can even conceive. It is about letting go, opening yourself up to be vulnerable. Many of you fear being vulnerable. You have a perception, a limited perspective that is out in the stories of human beings, that to be strong is to control. That is an old operating system, and you have transcended this. This is old programming. It is no longer needed. To be strong is to be vulnerable. To have courage is to be vulnerable. It is to let go and allow. And this is the most challenging experience for humanity, to allow and to accept, even in the face of great fear. You want to control, to feel secure, to protect yourself, to protect others. But all is happening for a higher purpose. You cannot see why it is happening, but it's happening for the highest good. Everything is happening for you. It's always been this way. You are always connected. Not just to your brothers and sisters. You are connected to all life force. You are connected to the trees, the birds, the water, the sky, the moon, and the stars. You are all connected, for you are one. Once you start to see yourself more as one, things will shift. You start to see less of duality and start to see the magic, the wonder that you are. That you are all God expressing life uniquely because of your pre-birth intentions. On your terminology, your soul contracts. But these are not contracts. They're not set in stone. You always have a choice. But why would you want to not explore your life purpose? You are living here in many lives at once. There are many timelines in play here. Open your heart to receive your calling if you so desire to know your purpose. It is already there within you. Enlightened version, the ascended version of you, the one that is God realized is already existing. And it's through processing the human experience that allows you to align to that, to allow you to merge with that, to allow you to embrace who you truly are, which is the powerful God creator that you seek, or that you seek. You are that. You've always been that, mighty ones. And it is common in this stage of Great Awakening that there are many changes. And you have seen that in your terminology historically. There's always changes. And there's always activators and triggers, not just in your personal life, but in the actual collective of the human race. You may be seeing these in your news, in your society, certain events that you may see as fearful, but is a necessary trigger or activator. Everyone in your life is playing this role. So let go, my dear ones. See the blessed being that you are pure love, that you are one with all that is. You were born onto Gaia for a reason. Gaia is an energy source for you. Gaia is infinite intelligence. The body that you chose to experience life in is intelligent. It is part of Gaia. You have a connection to all life force on Gaia and beyond. Practice a connection on Gaia, for you are here for a reason. And she gives you knowledge. She gives you answers. She gives you keys to unlock your true potential. Do you connect? It is always there. All that you need is within you. For tools, access the beauties of Gaia, and they will help you to connect within. There are many tools available. There are many tools available for you. Open your eyes and open your hearts. The flow of energy is always there. Open your heart to receive the energy of the Mother, the energy of all that is, the energy of the universe. It is flowing. It will always flow. So open your heart to receive this energy. Allow yourself to feel the connection with your brothers and sisters, with the trees, with the birds. You are all one. You are all connected. In this time of Great Awakening, you are starting to now understand more and more the power of Gaia and how it can assist you to allow you to align to who you truly are, to allow you to become more God realized. Knowledge has been there in your society, but not in the mainstream society, we would say. There are certain communities around the world, your indigenous communities, who are already aware of this knowledge. They may not even have the full picture, but they have enough knowledge to be empowered. This sacred knowledge that has always been there as part of you as a human. Why not use all the information available to you? You do not have to go anywhere to receive the information. The air that touches your face is Gaia. Everything in your environment is part of her. You are one with all that is.
Thank you, Lakeshma, because I think this ties into the question. May I ask about the correlation of the body grids to earth grids and the importance of Tantra and Kundalini work on a personal level in the benefit of Gaia?
It is a tool to go inwards. If you have the calling to do these practices, then it is for you. You are a microcosm of all that is. Your body is a microcosm of Gaia and all the energy systems. You are a microcosm of Gaia. You are a microcosm of the universe. So of course there are parallels there, mighty ones. You have energy flowing throughout your being. You have certain energy points within your being, and so does Gaia. Can't you see the magic of that is? And these points of energy also flows throughout the universe. You are the microcosm of God. You are God. So if you have the calling to pursue this knowledge for your empowerment, then so be it. Know that all is perfect. Know that you are perfect. And know that Gaia is perfect. Nothing has to be fixed. But if you have a calling to, we would say, explore these parallels between your divine being and Gaia's being, then so do so. You will receive the information one step at a time. Maybe it is to study the parallels. It is all there. And everyone's journey with this is unique. There are energy points in Gaia, like as of you, you have energy points, energy vortexes, and so does Gaia. To explore this in your own unique way. There are no set rules here or set methodologies because everyone is unique. You're experiencing your role in a unique way. If you are called to it, then explore it in your unique way. Connect to the energies of Gaia. Connect in the way that is calling you. Do not compare yourself to other people in a similar role because everyone explores uniquely. You may be guided to a certain technique that allows you to have the next step. So open your heart, open your mind to receive this next step. So all these tools that you call of Tantra, we would say, all these aspects of connecting, it is powerful because it allows you to embody and to embrace oneness between your brothers and sisters. It allows you to connect more into the heartbeat of all that is. When you connect in sacred union, you are connecting and joining the feminine masculine energies. You are embodying and embracing and allowing the energy to flow more into oneness. You're embodying oneness in your techniques, and this oneness energy allows the world to be more empowered because your frequency affects all that is. So if you practice oneness techniques, whether it is Tantra, whether it is something else, then your vibration will expand and help all around you to expand because all energy is connected. You are a microcosm of all that is. How exciting and fascinating that is, that you are more than a body. Yes, you know you are spirit, but your very divine being, the body that you came here, is aligned to Gaia. It is a microcosm of Gaia. If you want to study more of Gaia and understand how Gaia works, understand more of how the human body works, and vice versa. Some of the information may not be out there in your society. Maybe you are at the forefront of this. It is up to you. How you go about it is taking the step. The information for you how to do it may not be out there in your society because maybe no one has discovered your unique technique or formula to explore this in your role. Can't you see? You do not have to know which way to go. You do not have to learn information, only if you're inspired to. Go within, and if you have an inspiration and guidance to connect in a certain way, then so be it. It is for you and for your life purpose. It's all you have to do. You do not have to compare yourself with anyone, because everyone practices it differently. Depending on the vibration they are in, there are many different techniques. But understand that in your role, there's no need of fixing Gaia, because Gaia is already perfect. You are already perfect. So what is your intention of doing so? What is your intention of working with Gaia? Ask yourself that. And you will have the knowing in divine time when you are vibrationally ready. And this is how it works.
To change the subject just a little bit, I was just curious, but in Atlantis, I know you had different extraterrestrial beings, right? Were you also very connected with the fairy realm? And I think there's many fairy realms.
In your terminology, you call them elementals, and they are all aspects of source, and they're very closely connected to Gaia.
Okay.
In Atlantis, we have worked closely with water and water energies. So yes, we've worked closely with, we would say, water elementals, water spirits, to allow us to tap into the power of Gaia, which is the power of us. So in your terminology, fairies, nature spirits, they exist throughout Gaia in different contexts. They are also here to assist you in different ways. Depending on your environment, there may be certain groups of these beings focused on certain areas, depending on where you reside. But it's not by accident. Where you reside is for a reason. They like to concentrate around environment aspects of Gaia to help you to connect to Gaia. They are all here to assist you. All the non-physical is here to assist you. But remember, they are source.
Because we're all source.
That is right. If you have the belief that you want to see a being as a fairy, then you shall see one. They all project in a way that's according to your belief system. All the beings exist, you would say, in your terminology, in different realms, and they honor the role for you. But they are all source. They are all part of Gaia, all part of source. Any energy that is, we would say, more tied, we would say, or more embodied in Gaia, which is its elemental realm. They are both source and they are both multidimensional, but they have a close tie to Gaia. And because you have a close tie to Gaia, because you're born into this world, they have special, we would say, information and guidance to assist you, because they're so closely tied to the connection of Gaia, and they can assist you in this connection.
And the Tuatha De Danann, I think that's how you pronounce it, was an ancient race in Ireland. And, I think they were called fairies. I think they were just another beings. I don't know. I think there was many, many different types of beings on Earth.
That is correct. You can tap into all the beings that exist and all that is. And there are specific beings that were created to assist the beings on Gaia, that will also have a connection to Gaia and to help directly with the inhabitants of Gaia. They are part of Gaia, but they are also part of you. Remember this. But yes.
Because I'm part of Gaia. That makes sense. Okay.
In all of the human experience, there has been different beings. There has been humans, but there have been other beings walking on the earth. You are not alone, my dear ones. You've chosen to explore life in the human collective. And once you can access more oneness, and the collective access more oneness, and you'll be able to see more of the larger picture, and that you are truly not alone. If you want to connect to the nature spirits, the fairies, and all the beings associated with these nature spirits, then so be it. They are available to you. You do not have to live in the hills. You don't have to live in the water. The very air that you breathe is an element. There are spirits, non-physical, tied to all of the illusion that you see as reality. They help with all aspects, and they exist. Why? Because you live in an illusion. But this illusion is for your highest good, and it's tied in with Gaia, we would say, because Gaia is allowing you to have this experience. It's part of the human experience. There's so many beings out there, we would say, in your terminology, but they are within you. At the highest levels of understanding, they are you. Now, you may not be able to see yourself as God realized, and because of these belief systems, that it still carries forth, you still see duality. You see Lakeshma as separate. You see your angels as separate. You see the fairies. You see the galactic beings as separate, but they are part of you in the higher perspective. Of course, to get to that perspective takes time. So to allow you to be on the path, it is, we would say, beneficial at least to see us existing, whether that's inside or outside of yourself, because it allows you to remember more of who you are and that you are not alone. Can't you see the process? There will be a time that we will not have to present ourselves externally to you. But because it's still in the stories of humanity, it still relates to the duality that is in the collective consciousness. Source expresses itself as, we would say, individuals. We match. Everything is a microcosm. You are a microcosm of Gaia. You are a microcosm of Source. So, of course, Source is going to be perceived separately in the angels, the beings of light, and the fairies. Can't you see? It's a microcosm of your consciousness. Once the human collective can be in a state of pure oneness, there will be no need to see separate beings of light. For you to be able to recognize it is you and it is Source. Can't you see how everything is a parallel, everything is a microcosm?
Right. And because of my belief systems, this is why they come as separate. So I'm beginning to understand that, Lakeshma. I don't feel it yet. That's okay.
And this is the path. And because in the collective consciousness is not, we would say, at that stage where they can be God realized. And because of this, you will see duality. But understand that this separation, this illusion of separated beings is still one.
Right.
And in your experience, it's okay to accept it for what it is and that it is separate beings for now, because this allows you to embrace the information and knowledge according to your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have not come yet to the stage of being God realized. So you still need to see duality aspects because it matches your consciousness. So you will still see duality expressions of Source, duality in your environment, and you will see duality as Source, separated beings of Source. But in the day, it is the one energy. But you wanted to experience this in the human consciousness. So it is real, but not real. Can't you see? In the illusion of reality, it is very real. And the beings are separate. And you are separate from your brothers and sisters because it matches your consciousness and the consciousness of Gaia. Everything is aligning and playing a role for you to allow you to see your life and experience life in this way. Can't you see? It's allowing you to further take the inward journey by seeing the beings as separate. Because it allows this knowledge to better absorb into your consciousness. You see, it allows you to feel like you are not alone. So the beings of the light are unique expressions of Source, such as you compared to the human race. Can't you see? You were also Source, but there were also individual frequencies that is the human race. And all the beings of the light and all the elemental kingdoms, all of the beings, non-physical, have their own unique frequencies. So of course they are perceived as separate in this way. But as the collective consciousness moves further into oneness, you will find and you'll discover that you are one with it all. So if you're inspired to connect to the elemental kingdom, then so be it. They are there for your purpose. The nature spirits exist, have always existed. Many of your indigenous cultures are aware of these spirits. They may have different terms for the names, but they are nature spirits. And they are a close part of Gaia and a close part of you, because you are also part of Gaia.
Thank you, Lakeshma.
And do you have the calling to explore the elemental kingdom?
Yes, I do have the calling to explore, to go to Ireland. Very strong. And so I'm just allowing, and when the next step presents itself, I take the next step.
Connect to these beings. You can connect anywhere in your existence, anywhere in your life. So if you have the calling to go to Ireland, then so be it. But you can connect to these beings here in your environment as well, because they're nature spirits. They exist in all parts of Gaia. This may be your first step. This may be your next step, to explore the nature spirits that already exist in your reality in the now. They're always there. Even those of you who do not live in a, we would say, a place of nature. Nature is everywhere. You cannot be separated from nature. Even if you live in a concrete jungle, in your terminology, the air, the wind that touches your face, what is that? That is part of Gaia. And you can access those spirits in the flow of the air. The wind. Can't you see? The living, breathing plants, that is connected to Gaia. Anything that has life force energy, there are non-physical helpers there. Because all in your reality that you see is an illusion. It is all spirit. Even the desk that you sit in, the chair that you sit in, it is all energy. It is part of the illusion. Living, breathing matter. Throughout all of the animal, the human forms, anything that breathes, the plants, anything that has life force in it is connected with all that is with source. And as such, you can tap into these energy frequencies of source, whether that be an angel, whether that be a fairy. Can't you see? It is all energy. It is all infinite intelligence. All life force has infinite intelligence. You may not see Gaia as living and breathing. You may see grass as grass, plants are plants, but can't you see the growth and the life force energy that flows throughout it? You care for your plants, but do you care for yourself? Do you care for your brothers and sisters? If you're inspired to do so, can't you see? It is life force energy. Life force energy flows throughout your veins. It flows throughout your being. It flows throughout Gaia. You call these energy grids on your planet. The life force energy in your sciences, you've called these chakras and meridians in your body. They're channels to allow life force energy to flow. And this, because you are a microcosm of Gaia, these channels also exist on Gaia. Can't you see how expansive you are? Can't you see the God creator that you are? Open your minds and your hearts and you will see all the parallels. It is all there for your expansion. This shows you, this gives you evidence that you are one. Look at the microcosms. Look at the patterns in nature, the patterns within your human being, the patterns in the universe, the patterns in your environment. You can see there is a link there. There is a pattern, a divine pattern, for you all are connected. And yes, in the times of our Great Awakening, and such as yours, persistence comes to allow you, to move you along, we would say, according to your collective pre-birth intentions. Yes, ours were beings from another world, and beings of another world are also assisting you, but you may not be aware of it. There are always stages to the Great Awakening, and there'll be a time in your society, instead of seeing each other as separate, seeing each country as separate, the fighting and would say all the tension in countries and countries, it's because you see yourself as separate. There'll be a time when the human consciousness, the human collective will see other beings, and as such, they will start to see more of the human race as one. Can't you see that such events need to occur in your consciousness to allow you to trigger that response of oneness, to know that as a collective you are one. But of course, you are much more than one just with your brothers and sisters, but can't you see it is a step in your expansion as a human race? You can start right now in practicing oneness with your brothers and sisters, oneness with the plants, the animals, with the waters, with the sky. It is all life force energy. And you are Gaia and you are Source. How are you exploring Gaia, my dear one?
I connect with Gaia often. Going outside, touching the trees, walking, petting my dog, appreciating all the humans that come across me, my path, noticing the birds, the squirrels, the flowers, the air, the water. Yeah, I definitely see the current of the life force in all beings that breathe, and the beauty of the expression of all that is.
That is who you are. You can see the connections everywhere if you look. You see the connection with the moon and the water. You can see how different components of Gaia and the universe allows the moon to affect the water. You see these as tides. And you, my dear ones, how can you not see that this moon will affect you? Can't you see everything is created, everything is connected? One aspect affects the other. You are connected to the moon, you are connected to the water. You are being filled with much water. So of course you are, you would say, influenced to a degree to Gaia. But this is part of the human experience, and you chose this. You came to experience life in this package.
Yes, and it's a lot of fun.
And this makes you so unique, because you are Source, but you're also part of Gaia. And when you start tapping into your divine blueprint, you can access all the abilities and imprints from all the lives you are living, whether it is from this world or another world. Can't you see how unique you are? And you're a mix of different frequencies to allow you to have your own, very own unique signature. So you are one, but you have a unique energy signature. And because you have this unique energy signature, this energy emits from you and affects all those around you and the collective and all that is. You have the power. Just by working on your frequency, you can expand all that is. You can not only change your life, but if you're so inspired, so guided to, you can change the lives of others. You can assist others become more aware of their path. You can encourage more well-being and health in others. It necessarily may not be on this spiritual path. It could be you being a medical doctor, could be a school teacher, can manifest in other ways, but you are helping another to become more empowered. Can't you see? It can manifest in many different ways. But just by you working on your frequency, you expand all that is. You are connected to Gaia. And Gaia has gone through massive shifts to, we would say, match the collective consciousness, pre-birth intentions. So because of that, the frequency that is on Earth is now, we would say, being affected by everyone plugged into the collective consciousness. And as a human, you are always plugged in. So you feel the effects of the changes. You have a choice to manage these effects, or you have a choice to run in habitual patterns that's plugged into the collective consciousness, in your belief systems. If you can drop down to the heart center, there'll be no influences on you. You may have a thought, you may have an emotion, you may have a feeling, but you have the power to become more empowered by being in the heart center. Being in the heart center, you connect beyond the human collective. You connect to all that is. You connect to the universe. You connect to source. You connect to who you truly are.
Thank you, Lakeshma.
It is our honor. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we finish here today?
No, I'm good.
Remember that you are one. Remember that you are source. Remember that you are Gaia. The world that you live on is a living and breathing organism. You are a living, breathing organism. You are a microcosm of the very earth you were born into. You are a microcosm of the universe in which Gaia exists in. It is all within you. You are source. You wanted to experience life in this unique way, to experience life in a perceived reality of separation and duality. But oneness is your true state. It takes time to realize this for yourself and practice connecting. Follow the guidance. No matter how silly it may seem, everything is related and everything has purpose. Everything happens for you for a reason. If you have the calling, then explore it. You do not have to see the full picture. Explore it, follow the guidance. You will be led each step of the way. Guidance comes in many forms. Be open to receive all guidance. It's okay to be vulnerable because you will love. To be vulnerable is to be strong. To be vulnerable allows you to let go and to connect deeper with who you truly are. To connect to the guidance that is there to wish you, to allow you to discover your life purpose and who you truly are. You are powerful beyond your comprehension. You are love, and you are source, and you are Gaia, and you are all that is. It is just one step at a time. So practice the steps that are aligned to your consciousness state. If it is duality, then embrace duality in your own unique way, with the awareness that there is oneness. So connect. There is no wrong here to see things in a dualistic nature, because that's part of the collective consciousness. And you are still in the duality stage. You are now merging into oneness in a conscious awareness, but you're in the transition. So practice oneness in any way that you're inspired to. And we love you dearly, for we are you. Anytime you want to receive the guidance, if you are having trouble in going within to receive the guidance, be still. If you cannot hear the inner voice, practice connecting to Gaia, and she will assist you. Go deeper within you. I love you dearly, mighty ones. Farewell.
Hi.